Hey, it's Desi, and this is the month of October, and it is the anniversary of my the truth about the teacher shortage video. So I filmed that video last year in October. That's one of my most popular videos currently. And I always read through the comments of that video, and that video was just always still got comments coming in to this day, just, you know, jumping. Every time I turn around, somebody's asking me like, oh, do more teacher tales, tell more teacher stories. And y'all know I hated my job as a teacher so much that I literally had PTSD. So I don't like, you know, to even like, you know, try to remember, but it's some stuff I just honestly can't forget. So on the anniversary of the truth about the teacher shortage, my first ever, you know, teacher video that I posted back when I used to complain about my job every single day, I'm going to do a teacher tales today for old time's sake. For old time's sake. Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. All right, so I'm gonna title this video "The People That Terrorized Me," you know, at my job or when I was a teacher. I don't know what I'm gonna title it. Just listen. When I was a teacher, I told y'all this before, there's a lot of things that was wrong about me being a teacher. First of all, I was fresh out of college. I graduated college April 2022. And I started teaching August 2022. I was fresh out of school. I was looking for a job, and you know, they offered me one. Because I did not have a degree in education, of course, I was certified to only teach 6 through 12 and not elementary students. That being said, you know, I started teaching with absolutely no experience, and then I went straight to high school with, you know, kids that were bigger than me, you know, and adults that were more immature than I was. How ironic. But through all of the things that we know to be wrong that we've already talked about in the last video, this video I'm gonna tell you about the people who terrorized me when I was a teacher. Truthfully, honestly, 9 times out of 10, everybody terrorized me. Like, I probably could tell you a story about every single person, but we don't have the time, so we're gonna narrow it down to things that I feel are mention worthy. The first person I want to tell y'all about, I'm gonna have to give him a fake name, so I'm gonna call this man Oompa Loompa. You know, anybody who knows him would laugh, but you don't know him, so, you know, laugh anyway. So, Oompa Loompa, I feel like this is so petty, but I'm not trying to be petty, I promise. I'm trying to tell my story. This first man, I'm going to call him Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa was in leadership, a leadership role at my job. We're just gonna say that because that could be a lot of people. And when I tell y'all, for the first 6 months that I worked there, I never seen this man. When I tell y'all, I didn't know who this man was for my first 6 months working. Which says a lot. Like, either you're never here or you're always in your office. I don't know what you be doing. I did not know this man from a can of paint. So finally, you know, I meet this man. I don't even really meet him. I just kind of started seeing him around. I started seeing him around, and like, he always had stuff to say to me. He was always just coming in my room unannounced. Never really saying why he was there. Just like, you know, opening the door, looking around. I'm like, who is this man? So finally somebody said, you know, oh, that's Oompa Loompa. You know, he's in a leadership role. Y'all, when I tell y'all, this man treated me like he hated my guts. He used to make slick new teacher comments. So I don't know if it's because I was a new teacher and he just really felt like I wasn't qualified. I just don't know what it was. I just know that this man did not like me. I used to tell my mama, like, I must look like his ex-wife or so, because this man hate me. I don't even know if that man got an ex-wife. But anyway, this man used to treat me so bad. Every time I turned around, he was always rude. He was always disrespectful. He used to walk in my classroom just looking around, not saying nothing, not saying like, oh, I'm looking for, you know, John, is he here? Like, my boy would just look around, look at me and leave. Like, just the weirdest stuff. And then one day this man came in my classroom and looked around, whatever. I don't know what he was looking for. So then I asked the teacher across the hall to watch my class so I can go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I hear this man in the hallway talking to the hall monitor, talking about some, oh, I never in my life seen so many teachers that just sit on their butt all day. I'm like, bro, you was in my room for 2 minutes. That could have been the first time I sat down all day. And just because I'm sitting down, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm not teaching? Like, I talk with my mouth. But it just, this man was just absolutely horrible. Like, I hated to be around him. I hated when he came in my room. This man literally terrorized me. The second person is funny because the second person is a woman. This woman, I'm going to call her Flamingo. Oompa Loompa is self-explanatory. The reason why Flamingo came to my mind is because of the skinny legs. So, you know, we just gonna leave it at that. So remember in my first teacher shortage video where I talked about, you know, how rude people were, whatever. Flamingo was the meanest person at that job. Like, no, that's probably 3 people who were the meanest people at that job, and she was number 2. It was like one lady, her, She probably was number one because the other people, sometimes you can get a good day out of them, but Flamingo, that was never a good day. This lady was the meanest person I ever met in my life. I would speak to this woman every morning. This lady would not say nothing. I'd be walking past like, good morning. My girl be like, I spoke to this woman every day. This lady act like she could not hear me. Like, this lady was so rude. It got so bad until the students used to complain about her. Like, kids used to be coming in my classroom talking about how rude she was and how they're sick of her and she's so mean. That woman was so mean. The reason why she made the list is because I spoke to this woman every morning. Like, every day throughout my routine, I had to pass her. And I would say, good morning, how are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Every day, different good morning, different tone, all that. This lady never spoke back to me. Like, she literally used to just act like she didn't hear me. Like, I'll say good morning to her, she won't speak to me. Then somebody walk up behind me and say good morning. She'll be like, oh, girl, how you doing, child? Like that, how? I'm like, oh, so I know she could hear. Tell me why one day I got to the point where I was like, I'm not speaking to Flamingo because Flamingo's not going to speak back. Flamingo don't see me. She don't care about me. I walk past Flamingo and do you know Flamingo gonna say, good morning? I said, what? I speak to you every morning. You never say nothing back to me. And then when I say I'm not speaking to you no more, you hit me with that, oh, you don't see me type of energy. Y'all, I could have fell out laughing right there on that dirty tile floor. Because what? So then I'm like, okay, maybe Flamingo, is trying to turn over a new leaf. The next day I come back to work. I say, good morning. Guess what she says? Nothing. And lastly, I'm going to say this. The students definitely terrorized me. Like, oh God, those kids were a hot mess, a hot one. And I've told student stories before, but this is one story I never got to tell because it happened so close to the end of the year. And I wanted to tell this story in my end of the year debrief, but I was so internally exhausted I couldn't even tell the story. So I'm gonna tell the story today. I'm about to tell you about a time somebody kid went to the office and told them I tried to get her jumped. Yes. So I'm in my classroom. It is the end of the day, probably like last period, close to the last period. And this little girl is acting crazy, and I taught sophomore and freshman. I think she was a sophomore. She's acting crazy, she's loud, she's yelling, she don't want to listen. So I'm telling her like, by this time in the school year, I don't care. I don't. So I'm telling her like, girl, go sit down. Like, girl, please get out my face. Like, at this point, I don't even care what you do. Like, you can walk out the room, you can walk home. I do not care. I did not have the energy, for her, for this, for none of this. So she's getting loud with me. She's screaming and hollering. And I'm sitting at my desk, like, with the biggest I don't care look on my face. So two of my other students that sit very close to me, they see all this going on. They see that I'm like over it. Like, I don't want to be bothered. I ain't trying to deal with it. So one of my students, she say like, all right, you need to chill because you're not finna be talking to Miss Henderson like that. And the girl, starts fussing with her like, girl, who you talking to? Leave me alone. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your business. And the girl was like I said, you're not about to be being rude and disrespectful. You need to be quiet. It's bad when other students gotta check somebody for acting stupid. That's what I be telling them. I'm like, all your classmates are sick of you. Like, think about it for a second. Like, all y'all in here are children, and the other kids think you're stupid for how you're acting. Girl, relax. So now the two students are going back and forth. They going at it. And the girl was like, oh, well, what you gonna do? So they stand up like they about to like fight. I said, Lord have mercy. I didn't start none of this. I didn't initiate none of this. I'm sitting at my desk not wanting to be bothered with her. She see that I don't want to be bothered with her. So she said something to her. I didn't tell her to say nothing to her. I didn't say, Ray, get her. I didn't do none of that. So they stand up and now they're arguing. So she was like, well, girl, it's whatever. Like, we could go outside. I don't really know what they said. I just know they was about to fight. Her best friend then stands up and was like, oh, no, because if my sister fight, I'm going to fight with her. So now it's the one girl that was being disrespectful. And then two of my other students that's going off on her for being disrespectful. And now they ready to fight. This was the funniest thing. And when I tell you I could not laugh, I had to laugh later. This girl got up. Some kind of way she managed to shimmy her way outside because she was scared of the two girls and, run down the hallway. I go to the hallway to look for this child. this child gone. Like, she act like, okay, I'm mad, I'm finna leave, and she left. My girl did not leave. My girl sprinted. Like, when I got to that hallway, a second or two after her, this girl was nowhere to be found. And I'm in the middle of the hallway. You mean to tell me this girl ran so fast that she has disappeared in 2 seconds? That girl was running. So she runs her scary behind up to the office and tell them she want to call her mama because she mad. This girl calls her mom and tell her mom that Miss Henderson tried to get her jumped. I said, what? I said, she got switched out of my class. It's literally no time left in the school year. Like, girl, you are failing. You ain't been doing none of your work. You come here every day causing problems. She tell these people that I tried to get her jumped and she didn't want to go back to my class. So now I got to deal with this. I'm like, bruh, I did not try to get this girl jumped. This girl was being disrespectful and some other students saw it and they checked her. I didn't say anything to anybody. So I had to go through this whole foolishness with this girl lying to her mama about me trying to get her jumped. Girl, I did not try to get you jumped. You was in here jumping bad. And then your scared behind started running down the hallway. Please stop. When I tell y'all, I was terrorized. As a teacher, I was terrorized. Now, honestly, I learned a lot. And if I were to ever do it again, which I won't, it would be a very different experience because I already know what to do and what not to do. But with that being said, you know, this is a teacher tales for you for old time's sake. And these are all the people that terrorized me when I was a teacher.